Every extremely big game has that one thing that's so popular that it becomes known even outside of its own audience. With Undertale, that's Sans. With Five Nights at Freddy's, it's the jump scares. With Halo, it's Master Chief himself. And with Fortnite, it has to be Tilted Towers. If you go up to a random stranger and ask them to name one thing they know from Fortnite, they'll probably say one of three things: the Scar, Ninja, or Tilted Towers. Never in Fortnite's almost 5-year run has any single location on all three of the islands ever matched this iconic point of interest. But why exactly? Let's look a little deeper into what made Tilted Towers become so popular, and see if it was deserved. Before we begin, however, I'd just like to remind you to like and No! We're doing this video now! Tilted Towers was added to the Fortnite map on the 18th of January 2018, in the game's largest update at the time, the game's second season. Season 2 brought new additions to the game, like the first battle pass, all new weapons and mechanics, including mini shields, and the iconic locations of Haunted Hills, Shifty Shafts, Junk Junction, and of course, Tilted Towers. This immediately grabbed the community's attention. I mean, it was a massive city with loads of loot, strategic fighting plans, and placed bang in the middle of the map, so you would almost certainly end up there at some point in a match. Before long, it would become a regular occurrence to see more than half the players in a single lobby land here in a massive cloud of death, each player hoping to come out on top, with a win at Tilted Towers becoming the new victory royale in a way. By Season 3, Tilted Towers had gained a reputation as being the #1 place for everyone, with every new player absolutely terrified of this place, going to every lengths to avoid landing there, despite every fill lobby marking it for the drop and then proceeding to die. Sorry, bad memories. Anyway, near the end of the season, the game had been propelled to a household name, known by everyone everywhere, and there was one place that everyone knew about the game, and that was Tilted Towers. Even Shadow knew about it.
So, this is the fabled Tilted Towers.
Everyone thought that Tilted Towers was going to be destroyed by the asteroid that was heading towards the island, but instead it was Dusty Depot that got nuked into oblivion, and Epic continued to troll its community at the end of that season with the rocket aiming directly at the POI before entering a rift. Since then, Tilted Towers has been crushed by a cube, had an earthquake go through it, been hit by a volcano, replaced with Neo and Wild West versions, as well as becoming Gotham City for the rest of the season, been sucked into a black hole, then coming back in Chapter 2 Season 5 as Salty Towers, which everyone lost their minds over.
No!
And after that, the Primal Season converted it to Bony Burbs, which remained for the rest of the chapter. Finally, it appeared as several frozen blocks of ice at the start of Chapter 3, before melting and bringing the iconic place back to us once again. And I made a video a while back. I actually won.
Yes!
And then it was destroyed again. Well, sort of. Some things still remained, but much of the location was demolished by the IO vs 7 war. And finally, it brings us to now, where No Sweat Insurance is working hard to rebuild your beloved Tilted Towers. Remember, folks, whatever you need, no sweat. Well, yes. That brings us to now, where we look at what might actually have made this place so popular. So let's look at all the most popular locations in Fortnite's history, and look at the patterns with Tilted. First, Pleasant Park, then Salty Springs, Lazy Lake, Dusty Depot, The Agency, Greasy Grove, The Grotto, Retail Row, Stark Industries, The Daily Bugle, Misty Meadows, and Risky Reels were some of the most popular POIs over Fortnite's 3 chapters. When looking at locations, you can definitely see a pattern with what the community loves, and what Tilted especially excelled at. Most have large amounts of loot, open outside areas, but very closed-in, close-quarter fighting on the inside of buildings, as usually with several houses and shops surrounding a road, or in Pleasant Park and Retail Row's case, a large park and a car park. 3 places in particular have something that most of the others don't, and I think that's what makes them so popular in their respective seasons, and also what makes Tilted so popular. The first is Lazy Lake, which in a way was a downgrade of Tilted Towers. It was seen as the quote-unquote sweat location of Chapter 2, but could never really see the popularity of Tilted. The next was the Agency, a single large white building bang smack in the middle of the island, on its own island, with the henchman, the mythic boss Midas, and the vault, full of sweet, sweet loot. It's no surprise that this was a fan favourite. Finally, there's the Daily Bugle, which, before Tilted Towers melted, was one of the most popular drop spots in the new chapter. With the volcano surrounding the whole POI, similar to Tilted's many surrounding hills, as well as the tall buildings and bouncy spiderwebs everywhere, it's once again a great location. Tilted Towers somehow takes all of these aspects, but does them in a way that is totally perfect, and that Epic has really never been able to replicate since Chapter 1. Something about the placement of every building in a specific place looming over all the players like the skyscrapers they are, and the way that you can move between them, working your way through each floor, dispatching every player you find in an intense close quarters fight that feels fun and exciting and terrifying, as you never know how many more players will remain. It's such a good location, or at least it was. If we look at the Google Trends graph, yes, I'm copying SunnyV2 even more now. The most interest in Tilted Towers was around mid-April of 2018, and since there's been a rapid decline, occasionally having some small spikes here and there as people check in to see if the location has really returned / been destroyed. Now, this may only be on account of the location becoming immediately infamous, but I feel it's because that over time less and less people were playing Fortnite. The game has been on a downward spiral ever since its peak around mid-2018, and the game really stopped being fun around that time as more people got better and Fortnite turned into an esport. Tilted was seen less as a fun place to test your skills, as instead a breeding ground for sweats and pros. Now, has the location really changed since then? Well, yes, but that's only on account of it getting destroyed so much. No, I think it's just lost its charm. When Tilted Towers returned for the first time in almost 3 years, many people assumed that it would just be like the good old days, but instead, the place was just filled with the best pros and the worst bots that Fortnite still insists on putting into its games. Like, I'm just gonna rant about this for a sec. Like, come on, Fortnite. Take the bots out. Maybe they speed up matchmaking, but does that really matter when you can just play with more real people? Like, is it worth taking away? No one likes the bots. At least make them good. Just, Fortnite, what are you doing? So, is Tilted bad now? Absolutely not. It's still an amazing location and a huge nostalgia kick to the OGs who remember dropping 20 kill games with the boys. But is it as good as it was back then? Absolutely not. I don't think we will ever get anything like OG Fortnite, at least not for a very, very long time. And I doubt there will ever be another experience like Tilted Towers was ever again. And that's kind of what makes it the greatest location ever in Fortnite history. It has cemented itself as one of the most iconic and infamous video game locations of all time. It's simply iconic, and just that first year of Fortnite where just Tilted was the best thing ever to just drop at and test your skills. No other video game, in my opinion, has managed to create something that iconic. I mean, name one other video game where you can just, where a specific location is iconic. There's not a lot out there. I'm sure there'll be loads of people saying, like, famous video game locations in the comments, but I don't think anything will ever match the prestige of Tilted Towers, OG or modern. And that's why, once again, it's the greatest location ever in Fortnite's history. So there you are, that's how Tilted got so popular. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not like this video and drop a 20 bomb on that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to come back next week for Astral Spiff, the greatest speedrunner on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Chimichanga!